Imagine a world without cars, trains, or electric lights, a time when the hum of machinery was absent and the only sounds were those of nature and human activity. This was the reality for most people before the Industrial Revolution. Communities were small and self-sufficient, relying on local resources and manual labor. Life moved at a slower pace, governed by the rhythms of nature. The rising and setting of the sun dictated daily activities, and seasons determined the agricultural calendar. The majority of people lived in rural areas, working the land to feed their families. Farming was the backbone of society, with entire families contributing to the labor-intensive process. Trade existed, but it was limited. Markets were local, and bartering was a common practice. Goods were exchanged directly, and money was often scarce. People often made their own clothes and tools. Skills like weaving, blacksmithing, and carpentry were essential, passed down through generations. Travel was difficult and time-consuming, mostly on foot or by horse-drawn carts. Journeys that take hours today could take days or even weeks back then. Communication was slow, relying on letters carried by hand. News traveled at the speed of a horse, and messages could take weeks to reach their destination. The world was on the cusp of a dramatic transformation. The seeds of change were being sown, and the landscape was about to be altered forever. New ideas and inventions were about to change the course of history. Visionaries and inventors were hard at work, laying the groundwork for a new era. The Industrial Revolution was about to begin. This period would bring unprecedented changes, revolutionizing the way people lived and worked, and setting the stage for the modern world we know today. In the 1700s, life was closely tied to the land. The rhythm of daily existence was dictated by the seasons and the natural world around them. Most people lived in small villages and farmed for a living. These villages were tight-knit communities where everyone knew each other, and life revolved around agricultural cycles. They grew their own food and made their own clothes. Self-sufficiency was not just a choice but a necessity, as markets were few and far between. Families were large, and children often helped with farm work. From a young age, children learned the skills needed to contribute to the household, making them integral parts of the family economy. Days were long and arduous. The work was physically demanding, requiring strength and endurance, and there was little room for leisure. Work began at sunrise and ended at sunset. The daylight hours were precious, and every moment was utilized to ensure the survival and prosperity of the family. People lived in simple homes, often with dirt floors and limited furniture. These homes were built from locally sourced materials and were designed to be functional rather than luxurious. Food was basic and often scarce. Meals typically consisted of what could be grown or raised on the farm, and preserving food for the winter months was a crucial task. Despite the hardships, there was a strong sense of community. Neighbors relied on each other for support, sharing resources and labor during times of need. People helped each other and celebrated together at festivals and gatherings. These events were a welcome break from the daily grind and a chance to strengthen social bonds. It was a world far removed from the hustle and bustle of modern life. The pace was slower and life was simpler, yet it was filled with its own challenges and rewards. The Industrial Revolution began with a series of groundbreaking inventions. These innovations revolutionized textile production, iron-making, and transportation. One of the key inventions was the spinning jenny. It allowed workers to spin multiple threads of yarn simultaneously, greatly increasing efficiency. Another crucial invention was the steam engine. This invention provided a new source of power, replacing human and animal labor. James Watt's improved steam engine design in the late 1700s was a pivotal moment. It made steam power more efficient and adaptable for various uses. These technological advancements set the stage for a period of unprecedented industrial growth and societal change. Coal played a vital role in the Industrial Revolution. Britain had abundant coal reserves, which became a readily available source of fuel. Coal powered the steam engines that drove factories, mills, and eventually locomotives and steamships. The use of coal led to increased mining activities. This created new jobs but also had significant environmental impacts. The burning of coal released smoke and pollutants into the atmosphere, contributing to air pollution. Despite the environmental challenges, coal remained the primary source of energy for much of the Industrial Revolution. It fueled the growth of industries and transformed transportation networks. Section 5. Factories, the rise of mass production. The invention of new machines led to the rise of factories. These were large buildings where goods could be produced on a mass scale. This marked a significant shift from traditional craft production, which was typically done in homes or small workshops. The factory system brought together large numbers of workers under one roof. They operated machinery and performed specialized tasks. This division of labor increased efficiency, but also led to repetitive and often monotonous work. Factories became central to industrial production, concentrating economic activity and transforming the urban landscape. Section 6. Growing cities and changing lives. The Industrial Revolution led to a massive migration of people from rural areas to cities. Jobs in factories drew people seeking new opportunities. Cities grew rapidly, often without adequate housing, sanitation, or infrastructure. Life in industrial cities could be challenging. Overcrowding and poor sanitation led to the spread of diseases. Working conditions in factories were often harsh, with long hours, low wages, and dangerous environments. Despite the hardships, cities offered new possibilities. People had access to education, culture, and social mobility. The Industrial Revolution was reshaping society, creating new social classes and changing the way people lived and worked. Section 7. The dark side of progress. The Industrial Revolution brought about significant progress, but at a cost. The rapid growth of factories and cities led to severe environmental problems. Pollution from factories and coal burning fouled the air and water. Working conditions in factories were often dangerous and unhealthy. Child labor was common, with children as young as 5 or 6 working long hours in hazardous conditions. The gap between the rich and poor widened, leading to social unrest and inequality. The Industrial Revolution's negative consequences highlighted the need for regulations and reforms to improve working conditions and protect the environment. Section 8. A legacy of innovation and progress. Despite its challenges, the Industrial Revolution was a period of remarkable innovation and progress. It led to significant advances in technology, medicine, and living standards for many. The invention of new machines and the development of new manufacturing processes increased productivity and created new goods and services. Transportation revolutionized with the invention of the steam locomotive and the steamship. This facilitated trade, connected distant communities, and transformed travel. The Industrial Revolution laid the foundation for modern society. It paved the way for further technological advancements and shaped the world we live in today. Section 9. The Industrial Revolution, a turning point in history. The Industrial Revolution was a pivotal period in human history. It was a time when the world saw a dramatic transformation in the way goods were produced and societies were structured. This era, spanning from the late 18th century to the early 19th century, brought about significant changes that still impact our lives today. It marked a profound shift from agrarian societies to industrial ones. Before this period, most people lived in rural areas and worked in agriculture. However, the advent of new machinery and technologies led to the rise of factories and urban centers, fundamentally altering the landscape of human civilization. Beginning in Britain in the late 18th century, it spread throughout Europe and North America, transforming the world. The innovations that started in British factories soon found their way across the continent and the Atlantic, leading to widespread industrialization and economic growth. The Industrial Revolution brought about unprecedented technological advancements, economic growth, and social change. Inventions such as the steam engine, spinning jenny, and power loom revolutionized production processes, making it possible to produce goods on a scale never before imagined. It led to the rise of factories, mass production, and the growth of cities. Urban areas expanded rapidly as people moved from the countryside in search of work in the new industrial centers. This migration resulted in the development of new social dynamics and the growth of a working-class population. It also created new social classes, altered family structures, and transformed the relationship between humans and the environment. The working class emerged as a significant force, and family life changed as more members, including women and children, joined the workforce. Additionally, the environmental impact of industrialization began to be felt, with increased pollution and changes to the natural landscape. The Industrial Revolution's legacy continues to shape our world today. The technological advancements and economic principles established during this period laid the foundation for modern industry and commerce. Many of the innovations from that time still influence contemporary technology and industrial practices. It is a testament to human ingenuity and the enduring power of innovation. The Industrial Revolution stands as a remarkable example of how human creativity and determination can drive progress and transform societies. Its impact is a reminder of our potential to innovate and adapt in the face of change.